Hello, everyone, and welcome back. You're listening to Daily C1 English Vocabulary. My name is Emma.
And my name is Tom.
In today's episode, we're reviewing some beautiful words that feel especially relevant as we approach the new year, a time when many of us pause, look back, and think about what's ahead.
We'll explore their meanings, share natural examples, and show you how to use them confidently in your everyday English.
Our first word is serenity. It's a noun that describes a state of being calm, peaceful, and untroubled. It's that feeling of complete inner peace when your mind is quiet and everything feels still and balanced.
For example, after weeks of holiday chaos, she finally found some serenity on New Year's morning, sitting alone with a cup of tea.
You'll often hear serenity used to describe places as well as feelings. The mountain cabin offered the perfect serenity for New Year's reflection. Or, there's a certain serenity that comes with watching the first sunrise of the year. The adjective form is serene. She felt serene after meditating on New Year's Eve.
Compared to words like calmness or peace, serenity sounds a bit more profound and spiritual. It suggests not just the absence of noise, but a deep, almost meditative tranquility. It's a word people use when they want to capture that rare, precious feeling of total inner stillness.
Now let's move to a word that pairs beautifully with serenity, contentment. This noun means a peaceful happiness or satisfaction with what you have. It's not wild excitement or intense joy. It's that warm, quiet feeling of being genuinely satisfied with your life as it is. For example, as midnight approached, he felt a deep contentment, knowing he'd spent the year surrounded by people he loved.
Contentment often appears in phrases like feel contentment, a sense of contentment, or find contentment. Many people travel during the holidays searching for happiness, but true contentment often comes from appreciating what's already around you. Another example. She looked around the room at her family on New Year's Day and smiled with quiet contentment.
The adjective is content or contented. After a simple but meaningful year, they felt content with their achievements. Compared to happiness or satisfaction, contentment carries a sense of lasting peace rather than temporary pleasure. It's less about excitement and more about acceptance and gratitude. These first two words, serenity and contentment, naturally lead us into our next verb, which is reflect. To reflect means to think deeply and carefully about something, especially about past experiences, decisions, or feelings.
It's what many of us do at the end of the year. For example, on New Year's Eve, she took time to reflect on everything that had happened over the past 12 months. Reflect is often used with the preposition on. He reflected on his travels, his mistakes, and the lessons he'd learned. Another example. Looking at old photos always makes me reflect on how much has changed.
The noun form is reflection. The quiet days between Christmas and New Year are perfect for personal reflection. You might also hear phrases like take time to reflect deeply, or a moment of reflection. For instance, before setting new goals, it's important to reflect honestly on what worked and what didn't.
Compared to simply thinking or considering, reflecting suggests a slower, more thoughtful process, often with a sense of looking back to understand or learn something.
Once you've reflected on the past year, the next natural step is to reassess. Our next verb. To reassess means to think about or evaluate something again, often because circumstances have changed or because you want to make sure you're on the right path. The prefix re means again, so reassess literally means to assess something a second time. For example, after reflecting on her goals, she decided to reassess her priorities for the new year.
Reassess is commonly used when talking about plans, strategies, goals, or situations. The company will reassess its marketing strategy in January. Another example. traveling alone made him reassess what really mattered in life. Or, many people use the new year as a chance to reassess their work-life balance. The noun form is reassessment. A reassessment of your habits can help you make better choices moving forward. Compared to words like reconsider or review, reassess sounds a bit more formal and analytical. It suggests a careful, structured evaluation rather than just casually thinking something over again.
Now let's shift to an adjective that describes the kind of atmosphere many of us crave during the holiday season. Tranquil. It means calm, peaceful, and free from disturbance or stress. For example, they spent New Year's Day in a tranquil village by the sea, far from the city noise.
Tranquil is often used to describe places, moments, or states of mind. The lake looked especially tranquil on the morning of January 1st. Another example, after the rush of the holidays, she longed for a few tranquil days to recharge. You might also hear a tranquil evening, a tranquil setting, or feel tranquil. The noun form is tranquility, which is very close in meaning to serenity. The tranquility of the snow-covered forest was exactly what they needed after a hectic year. Compared to quiet or peaceful, tranquil has a slightly more poetic, elegant tone. It evokes not just silence, but a deeper sense of stillness and harmony.
In contrast to tranquil, our next adjective brings energy and life. Vibrant. It means full of energy, brightness, and life. You can use it to describe colors, places, people, or atmospheres. For example, the city was vibrant on New Year's Eve, with fireworks lighting up the sky and people celebrating in the streets.
Vibrant is often used to describe lively environments or experiences. She wanted to start the year in a vibrant city full of culture and excitement. Another example, the decorations were vibrant, reds, golds, and greens everywhere. You'll also hear it to describe personalities. He has such a vibrant energy, he makes every gathering feel more alive. Common collocations include vibrant colors, vibrant atmosphere, vibrant culture, and vibrant personality. Compared to lively or energetic, vibrant adds a sense of richness and intensity. It's not just active, but colorful and full of life.
Now let's move to an adverb that describes how smoothly things can happen. Seamlessly. It means in a smooth, effortless way, without any problems, interruptions, or visible transitions. The word comes from seam, the line where two pieces of fabric are sewn together. So seamlessly suggests that everything fits together so perfectly that you can't even see the seam. For example, the event transitioned seamlessly from dinner to dancing as the clock approached midnight.
Seamlessly is often used when describing processes, technology, or experiences. The app integrates seamlessly with your calendar, so planning your New Year goals becomes much easier. Another example, they moved seamlessly from one country to another, adapting quickly to each new culture during their year of travel. Common collocations include work seamlessly, integrate seamlessly, transition seamlessly, and blend seamlessly. Compared to smoothly or easily, seamlessly emphasizes that something happens so naturally that there's no friction or awkwardness at all. It's absolutely effortless.
Our next word is another adverb, but it has a slightly tricky meaning, seemingly. It means appearing to be a certain way based on what you can observe, but possibly not actually being that way in reality. In other words, it suggests that something looks or seems true on the surface, but there might be more to the story. For example, the year ahead looked seemingly perfect in her plans, but she knew unexpected challenges would arise.
Seemingly is often used to highlight the difference between appearance and reality. The task seemed seemingly simple, but it required careful attention to detail. Another example. They had a seemingly endless list of New Year's resolutions, though most would be forgotten by February. You'll frequently see seemingly with adjectives: seemingly impossible, seemingly perfect, seemingly easy, seemingly contradictory. What appeared seemingly random was actually part of a carefully designed plan. Compared to apparently or supposedly, seemingly is more neutral. It simply notes how things appear without necessarily doubting or confirming them.
Now let's look at a really useful phrase, on the right track. This expression means making progress in the correct direction or doing things in a way that will lead to success. For example, after reflecting on her goals and reassessing her approach, she felt confident she was finally on the right track for the new year. You'll often hear this phrase when someone is encouraging progress or confirming that a plan is working. Keep going, you're on the right track. Another example: his New Year's resolution was to get healthier, and after 2 weeks of consistent exercise, he knew he was on the right track.
Sometimes people use it in the negative. I don't think we're on the right track with this project. We need to reassess our strategy. You might also hear variations like get back on the right track or stay on the right track. The workshop helped her get back on the right track after a difficult year. Compared to phrases like doing well or making progress, on the right track specifically emphasizes direction and correctness. It's not just about moving forward, but moving forward in the right way.
And finally, let's end with another powerful phrase: see the bigger picture. This means to understand the overall situation or long-term perspective, rather than focusing only on small details or immediate problems. For example, New Year's is a great time to step back and see the bigger picture, to remember what truly matters beyond daily stress.
This phrase is commonly used when encouraging someone to think more broadly or strategically. Yes, the holiday planning was stressful, but when you see the bigger picture, those moments with family were priceless. Another example: when reassessing your goals, try to see the bigger picture. Think about where you want to be in 5 years, not just next month. You'll often hear see the bigger picture in discussions about planning, decision-making, or resolving conflicts. Sometimes it helps to see the bigger picture before reacting to small setbacks. Compared to understand the situation or think long-term, see the bigger picture is more visual and holistic. It suggests stepping back mentally, like zooming out on a map to see the full landscape.
So there you have it, 10 beautiful words and phrases to help you express yourself with more confidence and nuance, especially as we enter this reflective season. From finding serenity and contentment to reflecting and reassessing your path, from seeking tranquil moments to embracing vibrant experiences, and from moving seamlessly through challenges to staying on the right track while seeing the bigger picture. These words will serve you well in the year ahead.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope this episode helps you feel more prepared and inspired for your English journey in the new year. Until next time, take care and keep learning.
Thanks for listening, and see you in the next episode.